Sometimes, love doesn't come with grand gestures. It doesn't always scream from the rooftops or arrive wrapped in roses and loud promises. Sometimes, love whispers. It hides in the little things. And if you're not paying attention, you might miss it completely. Because the truth is, when a man is truly choosing you, it won't always look like a movie scene. It won't always be flowers, candlelight dinners, or long speeches. Instead, it will show up in the moments in between, in the quiet decisions, in the unspoken support, in the things he does without needing applause. And that's what makes it so real. A man who's choosing you won't always say it out loud, but he'll show you in the way he texts when he's busy, in the way he remembers your little habits, in the way he listens, adjusts, waits, and stays. He may not be poetic, but his love will speak volumes through his consistency, through his patience, through his presence when it matters the most. If you've ever found yourself wondering, does he really care? Am I just an option or actually a choice? This video is for you because the signs are there. They've always been. You just have to look a little closer, not at what he says, but at what he does. In this video, we're diving into 15 subtle but powerful signs that he's choosing you, every single day, in every little way. These aren't just theories or ideas. These are the signs women often overlook, yet they're the deepest form of love a man can offer. So before you question his silence, before you mistake his calm for indifference, take a breath and watch closely. Because real love, it rarely needs to shout. It just quietly shows up. Let's begin. 1. He replies even when he's busy. He replies even when he's busy. It might seem like a small act, something easily overlooked in a world full of distractions and endless responsibilities. But when a man truly chooses you, you'll notice it in moments like this. His time becomes something he values more carefully, and yet he still makes space for you. No matter how hectic his schedule is, how tired he feels, or how much pressure he's under, he finds a way to respond, not because he has to, but because he wants to. Because in the middle of everything demanding his attention, you matter most. His reply might not always be long or detailed. Sometimes it's a simple, "I'm in a meeting, but I'll call you after." Other times, it's just a quick emoji or one-word message. But even in its simplicity, it says something profound. I haven't forgotten you. He's not replying out of obligation or routine. He's doing it to reassure you, to stay connected, to remind you that even when life gets loud, you still hold a place in his thoughts. People make time for what they care about, and when he pauses his day, even briefly, to check on you, respond to your message, or just let you know he'll get back soon, that's not just texting. It's choosing to stay present, choosing to make you feel seen, choosing to make sure you don't feel like an afterthought. And when someone chooses you like that, especially when they're at their busiest, it means their connection to you isn't built on convenience, it's built on something real. 2. He remembers the smallest things you say. He remembers the smallest things you say. Not just the big moments or the dramatic stories, but the quiet details. The name of your childhood pet, your favorite flavor of tea, the book you said you wanted to read someday. These little pieces of you stick with him, not because he tries to memorize them, but because he listens with his heart, not just his ears. You might have mentioned something in passing, something you barely remember yourself, and yet he brings it up days or weeks later, in a joke, a gift, a thoughtful gesture. Maybe you once said how much you loved rainy days, and out of nowhere, he texts you during a storm to say, "Your kind of weather." That's more than memory. That's presence. That's care. It shows he's paying attention not just to your words, but to who you are. In a world where people often speak just to reply, he listens to understand. He's not waiting for his turn to talk. He's soaking in every layer of you, even the ones you don't realize you're revealing. When someone remembers the little things, they're telling you something important. You matter. I value your thoughts. I see you. It's one of the quietest ways someone can make you feel deeply loved. Without grand speeches or dramatic gestures. Just by showing, again and again, that they were listening when no one else was. Because the truth is, the little things aren't really little when they come from someone who cares. They're proof, not just that he heard you, but that he kept a part of you with him. 3. He cancels plans to be with you. He cancels plans to be with you, not out of guilt, not because he's being forced, but because, in that moment, you feel more important than whatever else was on his schedule. Maybe it was a casual hangout with friends, a late-night gaming session, or even an event he was looking forward to. But when he senses that you need him, or simply that spending time with you would mean more, he chooses you, without hesitation or complaint. It's not about being clingy or dropping responsibilities. It's about priority. It's about those moments where he realizes your presence, your time, your comfort, all mean more than anything else going on. And so, he changes his plans, willingly, quietly, with no need to announce it like he's doing something heroic. He just does it. Sometimes it's as small as skipping a dinner so he can call you when you're sad. Sometimes it's rearranging a weekend so he can see you when he knows you've had a rough week. Whatever the reason, the message is the same. You matter more. In a world full of distractions and endless excuses, someone who cancels their own comfort for your presence is rare. It means they don't just want you around when it's convenient. They're willing to make time, even when it costs them something. And that quiet sacrifice, that unseen choice, is one of the clearest signs of someone who's truly invested. Because real connection doesn't always scream. Sometimes it simply shows up when he could have been anywhere else, but chose to be next to you. 4. He includes you in his future talks. He includes you in his future talks, not in a forced or exaggerated way, but naturally, as if you already belong there. It starts subtly. We should go there someday, or when we get a place like that. And without even realizing it, he starts saying we instead of I. That shift may be small, but it carries deep meaning. It shows he doesn't just see you as part of his present. He sees you in the chapters ahead. It might be while discussing careers, travel, family, or even something as simple as weekend plans months from now. He speaks as if your presence in his life is a given, not a question. He might talk about things he wants to build, places he wants to live, or experiences he wants to have, and you're always a part of that vision. That's not just romantic talk. That's emotional investment. When someone consistently includes you in their next year, after I finish this, or when we grow older conversations, it means their heart has already placed you in their tomorrow. He's mentally making space for you in a life that hasn't happened yet, because he wants that life to include you. And the most telling part, he doesn't make it sound like a fantasy. He speaks like it's already in motion, like planning a future with you isn't just a hope, it's a plan. No loud declarations, no pressure, just quiet assurance that he's not here temporarily, because anyone can enjoy the moment, but someone who starts building the future with your name in it, he's already chosen where his heart wants to stay. 5. He checks on you without a reason. He checks on you without a reason, not because you asked, not because something dramatic happened, just because. In the middle of a normal day, when everything seems fine, his message pops up. Hey, how are you feeling? Or, just thought of you. It might be a voice note, a call, a meme that made him think of you. But underneath it all is one quiet message. You matter to me, even when there's no reason to say it. That kind of check-in is different. It's not reactionary. It's not out of habit. It's thoughtful. intentional, and often happens when you least expect it. Maybe you were having a tough day but didn't tell anyone, and then his message comes, as if he felt it, as if some part of him is tuned into you, even when you haven't said a word. It's not always about big words or deep conversations. Sometimes it's just about knowing that someone out there is thinking of you. When you're quiet, when you're overwhelmed, or even when you're pretending to be fine. His check-ins become a form of care, a kind of silent presence that says, I see you even when you're invisible to everyone else. In a world where people only ask how you are when they need something, someone who checks in without a reason is rare. He's not looking for attention. He's not filling a silence. He's just making sure you're okay. That's what choosing someone looks like in the simplest, purest way. Because love isn't always loud. Sometimes it shows up as a quiet thinking of you when you didn't even realize how much you needed it. 6. He defends you in your absence. He defends you in your absence. Not because anyone told him to, not because he's trying to prove something, but because in his heart, you're someone worth protecting, even when you're not around to see it. You may never hear the full stories. You might never know who said what behind your back, or in what moment your name came up in a conversation you weren't part of. But in those moments, when someone jokes a little too harshly about you, questions your intentions, or tries to paint you in a negative light, he speaks up. Sometimes it's subtle, a quiet correction, a firm look, a change of subject. Other times it's louder, a direct response, a firm, that's not true, or a refusal to let anyone belittle the person he cares about. He defends you not just out of loyalty, but out of love. Because when someone truly chooses you, your dignity becomes part of their integrity. He doesn't stay silent when your character is questioned. He doesn't laugh along just to blend in. Even if it makes things awkward, even if no one else stands beside him, he does. Because you matter more than the room he's standing in. And the most powerful part is that he doesn't always tell you he did it. He's not doing it for praise. He's doing it because protecting your name, your worth, and your presence is natural to him. Real love doesn't just show up when you're watching. It shows up when you're not there to witness it at all. And the man who stands for you when you're not in the room, he's already holding your place in his heart. 7. He notices when your mood shifts. He notices when your mood shifts. Even when you say, I'm fine. Even when you smile and try to act like everything's okay. He sees through it. Not because you told him, but because he's paying attention in a way most people don't. Your energy, your silence, your tone, even the way you type or breathe. He picks up on the change, sometimes before you do. It's not just that he notices, it's that he cares. He won't always press you with questions, but he won't ignore it either. Maybe he softens his voice. Maybe he sends you your favorite comfort meme. Maybe he just quietly gives you space, but stays close enough so you know you're not alone. That's emotional presence, the kind that doesn't demand anything from you, but offers support anyway. When someone is attuned to your emotional rhythm like that, it's because they've connected with you beyond the surface. They've studied your highs and lows, not with judgment, but with curiosity and care. They remember how you react when you're overwhelmed, how quiet you get when something's bothering you, how your laughter changes when it's forced. And they don't just watch it happen, they try to make it easier for you. It's easy to be around someone when they're happy, but choosing to stay close, even quietly, when they're off, distant, or hurting, that's different. That's love paying attention. That's someone who doesn't need you to explain everything, because they're already listening to the parts you're not saying out loud. And sometimes, the most healing thing in the world is someone simply noticing that your heart is heavy and choosing to carry a little of it with you. 8. He prioritizes your comfort over his. He prioritizes your comfort over his. Not in a dramatic, self-sacrificing way, but in the quiet, consistent choices he makes when he thinks of you before himself. Maybe it's giving you the better seat, offering his jacket when it's cold, or walking you to your door even when he's tired. These aren't grand gestures. They're daily decisions that show where his heart truly lies. You'll see it when he changes the plan because he knows you're not feeling well. You'll notice it when he lets you pick the movie, even though he had something else in mind. It's when he holds back a joke because he senses you're not in the mood. Or when he adjusts his words, his timing, even his presence, just to make sure you're okay. He doesn't do it to impress you. He does it because your peace matters to him. He wants you to feel safe, heard, and at ease in his presence. And he understands that real connection isn't just about being close. It's about creating an environment where both people feel protected and prioritized. So he shows you through action, again and again, that your comfort isn't an afterthought. It's his instinct. In a world where people often look out for themselves first, someone who quietly places your needs above his own, especially when no one's watching, is rare. That's not weakness. That's strength. It takes maturity and depth to love someone with that kind of softness. Because when a man chooses you with care, your well-being becomes his silent mission. And without even saying a word, he makes you feel this one thing again and again. You matter more to me than me. 9. He listens more than he speaks. He listens more than he speaks. In a world full of noise and self-promotion, that alone is rare. But when a man truly chooses you, he doesn't just hear your words. He listens, not to reply, not to fix, not to debate, but to understand, to make space for your voice, your thoughts, your heart. He leans in when you talk, not just physically, but emotionally. He catches the pauses between your sentences. He notices what makes your voice shake, what lights up your eyes, what you avoid talking about. He's not just there for the story. He's there for you, fully present, undistracted, not waiting for his turn to talk, just quietly receiving what you offer, like it matters deeply. Because to him, it does. And what makes this even more powerful is that he listens even when the subject isn't big or dramatic. He listens when you talk about your day, your childhood memories, your random late-night thoughts. He doesn't dismiss the small stuff as background noise. He sees it as part of you, every detail, every feeling, every unspoken thing wrapped between the words. That kind of listening isn't passive. It's an act of love, a form of presence that says, I value who you are, not just what you say. And when he finally does speak, his words reflect all that he absorbed, because he wasn't listening just to respond. He was listening to stay close. Real connection isn't always about deep conversations. Sometimes it's about being with someone who listens so carefully that you don't have to explain yourself twice. Someone who makes you feel like your voice doesn't need to be louder, just heard. 10. He adjusts to your love language. He adjusts to your love language. Not because it comes naturally to him, but because you come naturally to his heart. Maybe he's not the type to express affection through words, but when he realizes that words matter to you, he starts texting good morning, leaving voice notes, or telling you he's proud of you. Not because it's easy, but because it makes you feel loved. And that's what matters most to him. He might prefer physical touch, but if your love language is acts of service, suddenly he's helping you with tasks, running errands, or remembering how you take your coffee. If you feel loved through quality time, he starts putting his phone away just to be fully present with you. If it's gifts, he starts noticing what makes you smile and surprises you with the little things that show he's been paying attention. What's beautiful is that he doesn't mock or question how you need to be loved. He doesn't say, "That's not me." Instead, He learns your language, even if it's foreign to him, because he wants his love to be something you feel, not just something he gives. Love isn't about giving in the way that's easiest. It's about giving in the way the other person understands. And when a man chooses to stretch, grow, and adapt just to speak your emotional language, that's not just romance. It's intention. It's him saying, without words, I want to love you right, not just love you the way I know how. And that choice, to meet you where your heart listens, is one of the clearest signs he's not just in love, he's committed to making you feel it. 11. He respects your boundaries. He respects your boundaries, not just the ones you speak out loud, but even the quiet ones, those you express through body language, silence, or hesitation. He pays attention when you say, I'm not ready, I need space, or even when your energy shifts. He doesn't push, guilt, or manipulate you into doing something you're uncomfortable with. Instead, he honors your pace, your comfort, and your choices, because your safety and trust matter more to him than getting what he wants. In a world where pressure and entitlement can hide behind affection, a man who respects your no is showing you something sacred. He sees you as a whole person, not just someone to fulfill his needs. Whether it's emotional, physical, or even time-related, he understands that love is not about control, it's about consent, care, and conscious presence. Respecting boundaries also means he listens without trying to fix everything. He gives you time when you need it. He doesn't take offense if you need a night alone. He doesn't cross lines you've drawn, even when no one's watching. And that self-restraint, that patience, isn't weakness. It's the strength of someone who values connection built on mutual respect, not pressure. True love doesn't demand access to every part of you instantly. It waits with gentleness. It makes you feel safe, not cornered. And when a man respects your boundaries, he's not just showing maturity. He's building a relationship where trust can grow freely. Because when someone chooses to love you on your terms, they're saying, I care about who you are, not just what I want from you. 12. He shares his personal life with you. He shares his personal life with you. Not just the surface-level updates or the polished versions of his day, but the real stuff, the messy thoughts, the fears, the past he rarely talks about. When a man opens up like that, it's not random, it's intentional. It means he trusts you. It means he sees you as someone safe enough to hold the parts of him he usually keeps hidden. You'll notice it in the way he talks about his family, his childhood, his failures, his dreams, the kind of things he doesn't share with just anyone. Not because he wants to impress you, but because he wants to include you. He wants you to understand where he comes from, what shaped him, what still lingers in his mind late at night. And that kind of vulnerability is never easy, especially for someone who's spent years keeping those walls up. But with you, he starts to let them down. Not all at once, not dramatically, but piece by piece, in conversations that feel natural but carry weight. He tells you what scares him, what motivates him, who hurt him, what he's trying to heal. And in doing that, he's giving you a key, one that unlocks the deeper layers of who he really is. This kind of openness isn't about oversharing. It's about emotional intimacy. It's about saying, I want you to know me fully, even the parts I don't show the world. And when a man chooses to invite you into that space, it's not just a sign of love. It's a quiet, powerful form of trust. A signal that he's not just letting you into his life, but into his heart. 13. He celebrates your wins like his own. He celebrates your wins like his own. Whether it's something big, like a promotion, or something small, like finally finishing a tough task, his joy feels just as genuine as yours. Sometimes even more. He doesn't just say congrats and move on. He lights up when you succeed. His excitement is real. His pride is visible. And it comes from a place of deep emotional investment in your happiness. You'll notice how quickly he responds to your good news, how he asks questions, how he tells others proudly, as if your achievement is part of his story too. It's not about competition, and it's never about envy. He doesn't shrink when you rise, he lifts you higher. Because someone who truly chooses you doesn't just want to be part of your struggle, they want to dance with you in your moments of joy. He remembers the things you've worked hard for, and when they finally happen, he's the first to remind you how far you've come. He celebrates not just the outcome, but your effort. He sees the behind-the-scenes pain, the late nights, the self-doubt, and that's why your win feels personal to him, because he's watched you fight for it. When someone cheers for you like that, it means they see your success as shared, not in a possessive way, but in a connected way. They believe in your dreams. They root for your growth. And your victories feel like proof, not just of your strength, but of the life you're building together. That kind of support isn't loud or flashy. It's loyal. And when a man celebrates your wins like his own, he's not just clapping for you. He's standing beside you saying, I always knew you could do it, and I'll be right here every time you rise. 14. He chooses to stay during tough times. He chooses to stay during tough times. Not just when things are easy, fun, or picture perfect, but when the weight shows up, when life gets messy, when you're not your best. He stays when you're overwhelmed, when you're distant, when you're crying over things you can't fully explain. He doesn't disappear when you become hard to understand. Instead, he leans in. He doesn't run from your chaos. He sits in it with you. Maybe he doesn't always know the right words to say, but he stays. Maybe he can't fix what's hurting you, but he listens, holds your hand, and reminds you that you don't have to go through it alone. That quiet presence, the decision to remain close even when your world feels like it's falling apart, is one of the deepest signs of love. When someone stays during the storm, they're showing you that their love isn't based on convenience. It's rooted in commitment. He doesn't see your struggles as a burden. He sees them as part of the journey he's willing to walk with you. And sometimes he stays even when you push him away. Not out of pressure, but out of care, because he understands that love isn't always soft and easy. It's choosing someone even when they're hard to hold. Staying doesn't mean he has all the answers. It means he refuses to let you go through your darkest moments feeling alone. And that kind of loyalty isn't loud or dramatic. It's steady, patient, and rare. Because anyone can love you when you're shining. But the one who chooses to stay when you're breaking, that's someone who's not just loving the good days, they're loving you. 15. He makes sure you never feel alone. He makes sure you never feel alone. Even when you're physically by yourself, he finds ways to remind you that he's right there with you, emotionally, mentally, completely. It might be through a message at the right time, a call just to check in, or even a shared silence that somehow feels full. He doesn't wait for you to ask for company. He senses it. He's attuned to the moments when you need someone to stand beside you, even if you don't say a word. He's the one who notices when your voice is quieter than usual, when your texts come slower, when your energy shifts. And instead of brushing it off or giving you space you didn't ask for, he gently steps in, not to overwhelm you, but to remind you, you are not alone in this. Whether you're facing heartbreak, stress, self-doubt, or just one of those heavy days, he's present, not to solve everything, but to make the weight easier to carry. Sometimes it's as simple as him saying, I'm here. Other times it's staying on a call with you until you fall asleep, or sending something small that makes you smile. His love isn't about grand gestures, it's about consistent presence. He doesn't vanish when you're quiet. He doesn't back off when you're distant. He shows up. because he wants you to feel in your heart that you're not navigating this world alone. That kind of support doesn't just fill space. It fills the emptiness you thought no one noticed. And when someone makes sure you never feel alone, it's not just love, it's home.